Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. So today we're going to cover a lot of information, and my goal here, it's a rather ambitious goal, is to put together a bunch of information that maybe I've included in some videos, maybe not all of it, some new stuff for you guys here too, but put it all together in one video for you guys to go ahead and maybe give to friends who just picked up the game, or hopefully there'll be a lot of tips for you guys who are in the mid game of Raid Shadow Legends, or heck, even in the end game of Raid Shadow Legends. So let's start with the basics. Today we're going to talk about how to really upgrade your account, upgrade characters, champions, and also just some mistakes or some tips along the way that I see a lot of players make inside the game. So first off, there's the 4 biggest moments of a player's trajectory inside Raid Shadow Legends, right? Moment number 1, the biggest moment, in the early game is when you get your very first champion to 6 stars. So a 6-star champion fully ascended is going to be huge. It's going to unlock a ton of potential inside Raid Shadow Legends. So that should be all of your first goals if you're just picking up the game. Pretty obvious stuff here again, but the tips will get a little bit more advanced as we go. But 6-starring a champion is going to be great, and 6-star ascension is going to be fantastic because it's going to open up the accessory slots on your champions, which is absolutely huge in terms of their overall stats. Your ring, your amulet, and your banner on these champions is going to be tremendous in terms of how it's going to help you in progression no matter where you are in the game. The second biggest moment inside Raid Shadow Legends is when you get an entire team of 5 champions 6 stars. So 6-star ascension on 5 champions, again, is going to be absolutely tremendous in terms of just a game changer in your account progression. The third biggest moment is when you're able to clear level 13 dungeons. Now, why do I say level 13 dungeons? Well, let's go ahead and take a quick look. Level 13 dungeons on really all of the 4 kind of main dungeons here where you farm for silver or artifacts is going to be the first area where you guys can get 6-star artifacts. So you can see it goes from 4 to 5 stars to 4 to 6 stars in stage 13. So getting to stage 13 opens up the potential for you guys to farm 6-star artifacts. That is absolutely huge, right? And the last one, the last biggest moment of the game is when you can successfully farm every stage 20 dungeon, okay? And once you can farm every stage 20 dungeon, essentially beat it. And when you can successfully beat it, that's when it's going to open up a whole nother avenue of potential. You'll be able to farm overnight or farm just during your day and get those really, really juicy 5 to 6-star artifacts and better compete in events and tournaments inside the game. So no matter where you are, heck, maybe you've already completed all 4 of those. No matter where you are though, that ought to give you kind of a, okay, this should be my next goal. This should be what I am working to next inside the game. Alright, so that's great. You should be focusing on ranking up your characters and ascending them, but how do you do that? Well, to ascend them, you just have to farm potions in the potion keeps. I tend to farm at least 1 different keep every week. On 1 day a week, I focus on 1 kind of potion. That way, I always have a nice steady stock of those potions at all times, no matter where or what champion I am working on. Now, in terms of actually ranking them up, the most efficient method is to use your mystery shards, pull out common, uncommon champions. Let's summon one right now, and then pair this with a campaign farmer. So there's a lot of great campaign farmers. The starting champions are all fine campaign farmers in the early game and the mid game of Raid Shadow Legends. Basically what you want to do is take, well, we should be farming 3 of these champions. Take the champion that you want to level up and pair them with 2 food champions and your farmer, okay? So your farmer, the champion you want to level up, and then 2 food champions. We want to be efficient here. That means always using 4 champions, no matter where or when we're campaign farming. And we'll talk about, and Shieldguard's actually a pretty solid uncommon champion. But we'll talk about why in just a moment here. But essentially, if we go to the campaign screen, the best place to campaign farm, and we're looking for AoE, heavy-hitting, nuker type champions to be our campaign farmers, but it's actually going to be Brutal. And if you can't get to Brutal, just go normal or hard. But Brutal eventually, Brutal difficulty, better than Nightmare in terms of energy optimization, and it's easier, right? Brutal 12 12-3 is the best for your silver earnings and you still get a lot of experience, or 12-6 if you just want the most experience that you can possibly get, okay? So I go 12-3 all the time because I want the extra silver as well. So my campaign farmer happens to be Queen Ava, who is a really good campaign farmer, can one-shot every single wave, but even if you don't have Queen Ava, that's totally fine as well. You can use a champion like Bellower or Kale. So next up, we want to go ahead and take the food. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because most of you guys probably already know this. So these are the champions. So these are the champions that we just pulled from Mystery Shards. We're going to be leveling these champions up just to rank them up. That way we can sacrifice them and feed them to rank up a champion that we really want to upgrade. Let's say I wanted to upgrade Haikatoon. So this is what I would run. Instead of just running Queen Ava and Haikatoon, I would run the 2 food champions as well, because we always want to be efficient with our experience. If I ran just Haikatoon and Queen Ava, they'd be splitting the experience 50-50, and Queen Ava is already max. So I'd be throwing away, a decent amount of experience. I'd be throwing away 25% of the experience in this situation. That's why in terms of efficiency, you always want to run 4 champions. If you're just in a huge rush, go ahead and run 2. Just know you're wasting experience and energy in the meantime. So that's really the fastest way. However, there is a caveat, and we talk about this a lot. If you are more towards the end game or the mid-end game of Raid Shadow Legends, what is the best method? It's to take a team for dragons. Let's say you can already clear level 20 of Dragon's Lair. Take that team, and instead of running a 5th champion just so you can clear it 10 seconds faster, instead run that champion that you wanted to upgrade anyway. In this case, in our pretend scenario, it's Haikatoon. So I'm running Haikatoon there, so hey, again, optimization in efficiency with our energy is the name of the game here. So why not? It's not a ton of experience, but why not only run 3 or 4 champions as you progress in this game in specific dungeons? Why does it matter? Why does it matter how long it takes you? If it takes me an extra 30 seconds with Haikatoon in there, so be it. At least I'm leveling her up, and 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm artifact farming, I'm silver farming, and I'm leveling up a character. So I'm always trying to level up somebody when I'm farming in any of the dungeons at the same time. Let's go ahead and get to some more general tips for you guys before I leave you in today's video. So oftentimes people ask, what is the absolute best way to get silver? Because silver and gems and energy are incredibly scarce resources in this game. You really want to protect your silver because it's not hard to get, but it takes a while to get, and you never have enough, guys. Even me, I'm a big spender in this stupid game, and I never have enough silver, so I'm always looking to farm more silver. So the best place, bar none, in terms of energy efficiency and just overall silver is far and away Spider's Den. So focusing on Spider's Den is always a good idea. You don't know where to farm, you don't know what team to work on next, always focus on Spider's Den. I see some mid-game players kind of wasting time energy, or I should say silver farming in, campaign, when in reality, that's not really efficient in terms of their energy. If you can get 6-star artifacts, if you can clear stage 13 of Spider's Den, go ahead and do so, guys, because you're getting more silver for your energy, especially stage 20. If you can get to stage 20 of Spider's Den, that is the way to go. Now, secondarily, the second best spot is 12-3 of Brutal Campaign if you're not, if you don't have a good Spiders team, or if you're just looking to level up characters at the same time. So 2 kind of options for you guys, but definitely Spider's Den is where the silver's at. Alright guys, 3 more quick tips before we end out today's video, because I want to kind of include all this information together, because oftentimes I see people just not understanding these very kind of simple rules to the game. So number 1, it can get maybe a little confusing to new players, but listen close, it's really not that complicated, okay? So anything that you're casting with skills in this game, such as this tornado ability, 30% increased speed, that goes off their total stats. So increase speed on the champion off their total, not off their base stats, okay? So, for example, 30% increased speed would not be running off of 103, it would be running off of 210, the total speed of this character. Now, if this was not a skill, if it was an aura, so not 30% increased speed, instead if it was increased ally speed by 30% on his aura, okay? That's gonna be a lot different. That's gonna only go off the base speed of 103. So auras are really good in this game, but increased defense auras, for example, versus an increased defense buff, a huge difference, okay? Now, obviously, they do stack in terms of you don't see the aura buff on your champions, but you can still have an increased defense, increased speed, and that speed aura, but it's important to understand. You might have an Arbiter and see her aura and say, well, heck, ally speed in all battles by 24%, or Lysandra, I'm good, right? I don't need more speed. But yes, you actually do, because this speed aura is not as valuable as an increased speed buff that other champions such as Apothecary, another more accessible one, have in their kits. So at least understanding what that number is based off of, whether it's a skill or an aura, is very, very important. The next little tip for you guys is, man, attack percentage is not something that you guys, I mean, everybody does. I did this in the beginning of the game, but attack percentage or attack stat in general is overrated in this game for two main reasons, right? So number one, crit damage is generally better. It scales better. Ignoring defense with a Savage set as you progress into kind of the late game, or with Helm Smasher, that tends to yield more damage than just stacking up very, very high attack. So even if you have a nuker, even if you have your Kaos, your Galex that you just want to do a ton of damage with, right? You're really going to have to be cognizant of the fact that high attack has diminishing returns, especially the higher that you scale. Crit damage is much better, and there's no better example than Royal Guard or Cold Heart for that example, for that reason. So Heartseeker, for example, is based on enemy max HP and attack. But man, I have my Cold Hearts built out in a defense percentage chest because, guys, attack percentage on the chest plate is something that a lot of you probably need to reconsider, especially if you have attack percentage on your amulet. You should go crit damage. If you have attack percentage on your gauntlets, unless you have like a bomb team, you should definitely consider crit rate or crit damage. So getting your champions to 100% crit rate and then working on their crit damage, and then giving them a little bit of durability with that HP or that defense on their chest is going to help you out a lot more than just stacking a ton of attack on these champions. And another note on that same topic, don't worry about your attack in your Great Hall, okay? So you guys can see my Great Hall here. I'll move myself over a little bit. I'm saving my attack for pretty much last. Now, the 10 out of 10 attack was my big mistake that I made early on in this game. I had a bunch of magic champions, and I just loaded that attack because I'm like, yeah, I love it. For some reason, we're just inclined to really value attack. But think about it, guys. Like so many, like 1/3 of the champions in this game, if not more, maybe half of the champions in this game, right, are based on HP or defense. Their damage is based on HP or defense. So focusing on a stat that's not even going to impact like half of your champions potentially is not going to really behoove you guys in the long run. You're much better going off with defense, for example, where every champion in the game is affected by defense, whether they're damaged based on defense or not, okay? So very important to understand that. And the last tip I have for you guys to power up your accounts really quickly is going to be just understanding that artifact sets are incredibly valuable in this game. However, artifact sets have a very, very unique ability. If you have a champion in a stun set, for example, or a provoke set, for example, it is not based on accuracy. You do not need to build that champion with incredibly high accuracy, assuming that's their only debuff. So this stun set, 18% chance to land a stun debuff, that is not based on your champion's accuracy. So accuracy is important. It's an incredibly important stat. Anybody who is doing anything to your enemies needs accuracy unless it's coming from your artifacts. If it's coming from your artifacts, it's not dictated by accuracy, okay? But you can get these 18% chances from to place a stun debuff, for example. You can actually get that on all your champions if you work hard enough vis-a-vis masteries. You can get that up to 23% chance, and I don't even have it on him, but 23% chance by getting the Fearsome Presence Mastery. Of course, this applies more to mid-game and end-game players, but that 18 to 23% chance can actually make a big difference, and that works on the most powerful debuffs in the game: Fear, True Fear, Provoke, Stun. I don't know about Sleep and Freeze, but you guys get the point. So guys, I hope you were able to pick out 1 or 2 tips in today's video that helped you out. If you have any other guides that you'd like to recommend to see here on the channel, let me know in the comments below, guys. I appreciate you all watching. We're almost at 50,000 subscribers here on the channel. Feels really cool, guys. Thank you so much, and as always, take care, guys.